talking about how the internet can be used in a way. It just depends on the person that's using it and what kind of person are they. And one thing I see a lot, too, is like for example, there's this guy. I don't know what tribe he's claiming he's from. I don't think he's Lakota. I think he's something else. But his profile on Facebook is in New Mexico, I think, Santa Fe, New Mexico, and he has a picture of himself dressed up like a 1800s Indian, um, and he's all look, yeah, and so he's what he does is really not the way a real Indian would do things. Like for example, when you find, when you know somebody's doing something wrong, there's a way to deal with it. In the Lakota way, when you have a problem with somebody, you go to that person and you say, "Can we talk in private?" You do this in private, yeah, the reason why you do this in private is because you see, if you do this in public, what you're doing is you're trying to humiliate him. And to humiliate somebody is an unhealthy communication. It's bad medicine. In the Lakota way, we have this thing called wawokia. This is the natural law of generosity. And what that says is that how you do something, how you say something, that's going to come back to you 4 times as strong. Yeah, that's going to come back to you no matter what it is you send out. So if you try to humiliate somebody in public, that's going to come back to you. That is an unhealthy energy. And that's going to come back to you and kick you in the ass. Majorly. See, this is natural law. So, this is the reason why when you have a problem with somebody, you talk to them in private. You give them the Lakota protocol is you give them chashasha. Now this is a red willow bark it's processed to, and this is what they smoke in their pipes. This is not cigarette tobacco. Yeah, this has no nicotine in it. Okay, this is not what you use in cigarettes. And so if you want to talk to somebody, and then you opari, yeah, this is when you give them this. You give them some tobacco, and what you're doing is you're gonna. This is saying you have a request. You have a special request, and it's up to that person if they want to accept it or not. Because if that person says, you know, like let's say for example, I have a Blackfoot friend here in Germany. His name is Murray. Yeah. What if Murray starts doing things? He's a Blackfoot Indian. He's very proud of it. Yeah. But what if Murray starts to do things that are Lakota? What if Murray starts to set up what if he starts calling himself a medicine man and he starts doing Lakota Sundance? Yeah. He sets up a Sundance here in Germany and he's going to charge people for that. Okay, let's just pretend here. Now Murray's not that kind of guy, but let's just say that's what he's gonna do. Okay, automatically I would have a problem with that because I am Lakota. So, what's the proper way for me to handle that? Do I go online in some forum and say, look at what this Blackfoot Indian guy is doing. What he's doing is wrong, and I'm going to stop him, and I'm going to take him to the authorities, and blah, 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 blah. See, that's not the way to do that, because what I'm doing is trying to humiliate him. So this is not the way to do it. You see what I mean? So if Murray was to do something like this, and I know he never would because he's pretty damn proud to be Blackfoot, yeah. And he's a good buddy of mine. He would never do something like this, but I'm just saying this as an example. Okay? So if he did something like this, I would go to him and I would take some red willow tobacco, yeah, and I would give him this, and this is an understanding between different tribes, is that I have a request from Murray, and then I give it to him and I say, my friend, I would like to talk with you in private, yeah, and then so we go someplace and maybe we go take a walk in the forest, and I'll say, well, I said, Murray, I consider you a real good buddy of mine, and it kind of worries me a little bit that you're doing something that does not belong to your people, and also that you're charging money to do that, and I'm concerned, yeah, because in the Lakota way, when we do something, it's going to come back on us 4 times as strong. I just got done telling you that. Yeah, that, like I said, this is called Wawokia. This is a natural law of generosity. So I'll teach him that. I'll remind him. Maybe he doesn't know that. But I'm doing this in private because I respect him, and he's my friend. Yeah. So I'll say, Murray, in the Lakota way, when we do things, it doesn't matter what it is that we do, but whatever we do, the energy in that is going to come back to us 4 times as strong. I said, in the Indian way that when you do ceremonies, you don't charge money for it. You know that. It doesn't matter if it's Lakota, Blackfoot, Navajo, whatever. You're not supposed to charge money. You know that. So I'm concerned. Because in most Indians believe almost the same thing concerning this natural law of generosity, and that whatever you do, that energy is going to come back to you stronger. Now, some tribes might say it comes back 7 times as strong. The bottom line is it comes back stronger. So I'll say to Murray, I say, you're my friend, and I'm just saying this because I am concerned, and what you're sending out is unhealthy. And I'm concerned because it can come back to you, and it might make you sick. It might do something to you. Yeah, because when we do things that we're not supposed to do concerning our spiritualities, that's going to come back and hurt us somehow. Yeah. So I'll say to him, well, my friend, I said, I just want you to think about what I said. And I just want you to know it bothers me that you're doing a Lakota ceremony, and that you're charging money for it. I mean, you're charging people to pay for it. That I just want you to know that bothers me, and I just want you to think about that what you're doing is unhealthy, and it's going to come back to you, and it's going to hurt you somehow. And he's going to know this because if he knows his Blackfoot ways, they probably have something similar too. So it's up to him. And all I wanted to do was I just wanted him to know that it upsets me, that I am concerned, and I'm a little bit hurt too. And I tell him that. But I do all of this in private. Yeah? And then I say, well, I just wanted to say this to you. Let's go eat something. Because normally that's what you do. When you part, you do something together. That's you both like, and we both like to eat. Yeah. So then I leave him in a good way. Yeah, I leave him in the respectful way. We're not throwing words at each other. We're not cussing each other out and saying all kinds of shit to each other. And we leave in peace. We part in peace. Yeah, and then I let it go. The ball is now in his court. Now it's up to him. Is he going to continue doing this, or is he going to stop? It doesn't matter to me because I did my part. If he continues to do that, I can't. I'm just going to let it go because I've already done my part. Because the sad thing is that, the more he does it, the worse he's making it for himself. So I just stand aside and let his teacher come to him, if you know what I mean. You see what I mean? That's how you do it in Lakota. That's traditional Lakota protocol. Okay, now the unhealthy way to do this would be if I were to go online and go into some forum and say, hey, there's this Blackfoot Indian over here. He's doing Lakota ceremonies and he's charging a whole bunch of money for it. And yeah, he's a fake. He's a fraud. And look at what he's doing and blah, 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 blah. And I'm doing all this behind his back. First of all, if I were to do something like that, I am being a coward because I didn't confront him. I'm doing all this behind his back. So first of all, this makes me a coward. And secondly, I'm trying to humiliate him. And what this adds up to is that I'm actually going to fuck myself over. I'm going to really fuck myself over. Because this act of humiliation, remember what I said earlier, this is an unhealthy thing to do. That's going to come back to me, and that's going to kick me in the ass. Maybe I'm the one that's going to get sick from it. Do you see what I mean? In other words, when something bad is happening, you don't retaliate in a bad way, because then nothing good comes from it. It just builds exponentially into something really unhealthy. We have a really old story that talks about this. Yeah, long time ago, before there were humans on the earth, there was a species that lived under the earth called Pte Oyate. Now, a lot of people think this means buffalo people. No, it doesn't. Yeah, Pte is not buffalo. It's something different. It's human in form, but it's not a human. That's Pte. Okay? So, and at this time, they lived under the earth. And there was a bunch of them. And their leader was a really wise old man by the name of Tatanka. Yeah? And remember, there's no humans on the earth. There's no buffalo on the earth yet. But the leader's name is Tatanka. Okay? And some people think that means a buffalo. No, it doesn't. It's a buffalo bull. But at this time, it doesn't even mean that because there's no buffalo yet. Yeah? So anyway, this leader, he led the people in a very good way. He was a really wise man and very helpful, and he was just a good leader. And then a younger man started to get a lot of attention, and he was doing good things for the people too. And his name was Tokahe. Now Tokahe got the idea, of he's saying we should go on the earth now. We should go on the surface of the earth. And the old man Tatanka said, no, not yet. He said, we're gonna go, but it's too early. It's not time yet to go on the earth. And so there was this conflict between the old Tatanka and the young Tokahe. And so the young guy, Tokahe, he went around the people campaigning. Yeah, he was saying, yeah, these old people, they're too old-fashioned, and they don't want us to have a good life, so they're keeping us down here. It's like we're in a prison. He said, let's overthrow the government. So he got a large force of warriors together. Yeah, they were mostly young men. And then they attacked Tatanka and his warriors. But Tatanka held them back. Yeah, they held them back, and they told him, said, leave in peace. He said, we are going to go on the earth, but not yet. So he said, don't do anything. So Tokahe lost the battle. Yeah. Then they decided to rebel anyway. And so secretly they sent up a scouting party to the surface of the earth. And when they went up there, they were met by a nice-looking man. And this nice-looking man had some cooked meat and some, clothes made out of animal skins, and they really looked nice. And they were really in awe. Yeah, they were in a cave. They didn't go on to Earth yet, but they were inside a cave, and they were this what's his name? This good-looking man. He said, "Yeah, it's really nice up here on the Earth." He said, "You should come up." He said, Look at the food that, look at the good food that you can eat up here and the clothes that you can wear. It's really nice up here." So the scouts, there were 6 of them, yeah, 3 men and 3 women from the young Pte Oyate. They were scouting the area. And so then these guys said, "How did you make this food and clothes?" So the good-looking guy, he said, "It's really easy." He said, "You see that teepee over there?" He pointed to a teepee a short ways. And he said, "All you have to do is you make a teepee like that, and then go look for some animals. And then you chase them." He said, "Chase them so that they run inside that teepee. See, watch, I'll show you," he said. So he left, and a few minutes later, a bunch of animals started running. Yes, some deer and some elk, and, they were all running in that direction. And this man he chased them inside that teepee. He went inside that teepee, and about 5 minutes later, he walked out with a bunch of cooked food and clothes already made. And he said, "See, look, that's all you have to do. You just chase them inside that teepee, and instantly you have the food is already cooked for you, and the clothes are already made. That it's easy to live up here," he said. So these 6 young Pte people were really amazed. So they walked back down and told Tokahe and his people, and they said, "It's easy. It's really easy to live up there." Yeah? Okay. Now the story changes scenes. Okay? Now we go to the surface of the earth. There's a man walking around. His name is Iktomi. Iktomi is a trickster. Before Iktomi was Iktomi, he was a man named Ksa. Ksa was known for his wisdom, and people went to him for advice, and he really gave good advice. Yeah, but one day Ksa, he looks funny, and people would laugh at him, so he thought he would trick a lot of people, and the trick backfired. And from that time forward, his name changed from Ksa to Iktomi. See, the word Ksa, this is part of another word called Woksape. This is wisdom. See, his name is in there, Ksa. But after his trick failed and he ended up tricking himself, it backfired. Then he was transformed into Iktomi. It was a really bad trick, and it was so bad that he transformed, and so now he's called Iktomi, the trickster. So he's not known for his wisdom anymore. Now he's known for his trickery. Okay, so then he was going around trying to find allies, friends, but nobody wanted to be his friend because they all knew that he's going to trick you. Yeah, he's going to act like your friend. He's going to be real nice to you and do things for you and tell you how good you are. Then when you least expect it, he's going to do a trick on you. And some of these tricks, you could die. That's Iktomi. Yeah, he's a deceiver. And he was going around trying to make friends, but nobody wanted to be his friend because everybody knew what kind of man he was. Yeah. So, but then he noticed these one animals. They were the wolves. The wolves were having a hard time. Winter was going to come in a few months, and they were starving. They couldn't find any food. Every time they tried to chase an animal for food, the animals were faster than the wolves. So they had a hard time. Yeah, they were starving, and their pups were starving. Yeah, they were getting ready to go extinct. And so Iktomi said to them, "Hey, my brothers," he said. He said, "I got an idea." He said, "I got an idea that is so good that you're gonna want to make me your brother too." And the wolves were like, "Ah, Jesus, Iktomi, let's get out of here." And then Iktomi said, "Wait a minute." He said, I can bring you a food." He said, "and it's really easy to catch, and it's easy to kill, and the meat really tastes good. And when you drink the blood of this animal, you're going to want to drink that for the rest of your life. That's how good it tastes." So this got the attention of the starving wolves. So the wolves said, "Okay, what's the catch?" Iktomi said, "If I help you, you have to be my allies forever." So the wolves were thinking about it, and they were like, we don't really have a choice. We either become his ally or we die. So for the children to live, they became allies with Iktomi. So Iktomi took them in a place in the Black Hills that's wide open. Yeah, it's like a prairie inside the Black Hills. It's really up high. And he said, "Wait in the trees." He said, "I'm going to bring these animals to you. I'm going to bring them in the center. And as soon as all of them are in, you can attack. And you can have a feast." He said. So the wolves got all excited. Yeah, the wolves went to this location inside the Black Hills. Today we call it Preshla. Yeah. So then they went there and they were waiting. Yeah, like Iktomi told them, "Just wait there. I'm going to bring this animal to you. They're really easy to kill." Now the scene changes again in the story. Now we go back to under the earth again. And Togahe, the young, rebellious Pte, he gathers up his followers and they leave. And they sneak out of there. Yeah, and they sneak to the surface of the earth. When Togahe, see, he's leading the people. When he comes out of this cave, his body changes. Yeah, and all of them, yeah, as they come out one by one from this cave, their bodies all they undergo a transformation. They're becoming human now. Now they're called Ikche Oyate. These are the human beings. Yeah. So then Iktomi comes. He's the good-looking man that they know, and they don't know he's Iktomi yet, though. Yeah, because he is appearing to them as a good-looking, friendly man. So he says, "Okay, come, follow me." He says, "I have a feast prepared for all of you." He says, "So follow me." He says. So he says he takes them to this area. It's wide open. Yeah, it's in the middle of the Black Hills. He takes them there, and he tells them to just stand there. He said, I'm gonna go and get the food." He said, I'm gonna go get my helpers, and we're gonna bring you the food." So the people are all there. Yes, they're humans now. Now they're feeling things they never felt before, like hunger. Yeah, so they're really hungry. So they're waiting. Yeah, they're waiting because Iktomi said he has a feast ready for them. And so as he leaves this area, he gives the signal to the wolves. "Okay, now you wolves can have your feast." So the wolves come out of the trees and they attack the humans. There's millions of humans there, and they get slaughtered. a great massacre happens. Iktomi runs to that cave and covers it up. Yeah? He manages to put a big rock in front of the cave to block the entrance. And he puts a bunch of trees in front of it. So that any of these humans, are, if they're trying to come back to that cave, they won't be able to find it anymore. So most of the humans are slaughtered on that day. This is why Preshla is sacred. A great massacre happened there millions of years ago. A lot of Lakota people don't know that. This is a Lakota Star Knowledge story. Yeah, it's a really, really old story. So this is why wolves have a never-ending hunger for humans. This is how we became enemies. And what happened on that day? See, when you do something, whatever it is, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. If it's extreme, if the act that you did is extreme, and that could be good or bad, whatever it is that happened, it's going to leave a residue in that area. And it's going to leave a residue on the people who committed the act, whether it's a crime or something good, a good deed. It's going to leave a residue on the person. So when the wolves massacred the humans in Preshla millions of years ago, see, what they were doing was a murder. There was a massacre. And so that energy in their killing stayed in their hides, their fur. And this energy is dangerous when somebody sick. When a human is when a human is sick, it's really dangerous for them to touch wolf fur because of this massacre. So this is the reason why babies and women who are pregnant are not supposed to touch wolf fur. It's a really old tradition that today most people don't know. Yeah? So that's what happened. And only a little bit of humans managed to escape. And Tokahe was one of them, the leader. So they went and found a different cave, and they stayed inside, and they didn't know what to do, because winter's coming. Meanwhile, the wolves are hunting them. They know some escaped, so now they're hunting. They want to find more humans to slaughter. This is why wolves are considered enemies of the Lakota people. So now we have the humans on the earth, and they're in a pretty tough shape. Most of them were massacred by the wolves, and the wolves are on the hunt. They want more. And the energy of their slaughter is in their fur. And this is the reason why today it's dangerous for the weak to touch wolf fur. So there's an old tradition that says, babies, little kids, and women who are pregnant should not touch wolf fur. Yeah, this is because of that energy, the tone that's in there from that. Yeah, that stays in their hair generation after generation. This is why they have an appetite for humans. Lots of people don't know this story, but this is coming from there. Yeah. So Tokahe, the young, now he's a human. Now he's no longer Pte. He's Ikje Wichasha. He looks around to the surviving humans that are with him, and he sees they're in a tough shape. And so they remember what Iktomi told him. Now, they don't know this is Iktomi yet. They still, they don't know this, that they've been tricked by him. And they still, think of him as a guy who helped them. So they remember that, to get food and clothes. All they have to do is make a teepee and chase the animals through there. So they do that. Yeah, they build a teepee and make a big entrance so that the animals can run through it. They build it so it looks just like the one Iktomi showed to them. Then they go out and they look for some animals and they chase them in there. Yeah, and the animals come and they end up knocking the teepee over and they continue on. That doesn't work. So they realize that they've been tricked. Way afterwards, they realize they were tricked and that man must have been Iktomi. Yeah? So now they're in a tough shape. They're starving. Winter is really close now. They have to stay in a cave, and they don't know how to make fire yet. Yeah, they're still in it's really bad, really tough shape. So Tokahe feels really sorry, and he's really humbled now that because of his actions, it's led his people to near extinction, and looks like that extinction is going to be complete in a little while. They don't know what to do. So he goes up on a hill and cries. He apologizes. Yeah, he apologizes to the Wakantanka. Now, in Lakota Star Knowledge, Wakantanka is not God. Okay, the Christians changed that to mean God, and that's not the correct definition. Wakantanka is not God. Wakantanka is an organization. And in this organization, there are men and women, some animals, and there's one person who has no gender, is androgynous, or it's androgynous, I should say. And another one has both genders. It's like a hermaphrodite. Yeah? And see, this does not fit with the Bible. So when the Christian priests came to the reservation in the late 1800s, when we were placed there, see, they were like prison camps back then. Yeah, and we couldn't leave the reservations, and we couldn't hunt. We were not allowed to have anything to hunt with. And the only food that we could eat was whatever the American government gave to us. And that was really unhealthy foods. From those foods, we developed high blood pressure, heart disease, and heart disease. Did I say that already? High blood pressure, diabetes. Yeah, diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure. Indians all over America and Canada and Mexico developed this problem. And so we were being hit physically. Then there was a law that said it's against the law to speak our language and to do our ceremony. So now we're hit emotionally and spiritually. So we're hit in the 3 of the 4 parts of the self. The 4th part is the mind. Now, if one part goes down, eventually the other 3 are going to go down too. But in this situation, yeah, the late 1800s, 3 of the 4 parts of the self are hit at the same time. So it didn't take that long for Lakota people and all Indian people to become weak-minded. We were really in a tough shape. So by the time the churches came in the early 1900s, the priests learned our ways, and they said, that our ways conflict with the Bible. That means the Indian ways come from the devil. And you cannot separate language from culture. So that means our language also comes from the devil. That's what they said. And because we were in our weak minds, because of what I just said to you, we started to believe what the preacher said. Then, if anybody didn't want to join the church, they sent them to a mental asylum in Canton, South Dakota. This was the only mental asylum for Indians in all of America. So all Indians were sent there that did not conform to the church. They were sent there to die. And to make sure that the Indians become Christians, they sent the medicine men and women there too, to this mental asylum. They sent them there to die. So that way, Indians would have no place to go but to church. You see, America is not, in the 1900s, was not really land of the free, home of the brave. Yeah, it really wasn't. Not everybody was free, and even before that with slavery, So it was very selective on who really is free. That's how America started, and America needs to acknowledge that. The quicker it does, the better off it will be. Yeah, but that's another story. So then the children who were born in the early 1900s, most of them were sent to these boarding schools that were hundreds of miles away from home. Many of them were told that their family all died to tuberculosis, and it broke the children's heart. They did this so that way the children wouldn't run away. And so a lot of them grew up in these schools. In these schools, most of what they saw was abuse. They didn't really receive emotional training, and they saw, like I said, most of what they saw was abuse, and that's what they learned. Then they turned around and abused those who they considered weaker than them. It taught them how to become addictive, to become abusive. And a lot of children died in these, and from abuse, from molestation, murder. There's a lot of sick people that worked in these schools, perverts and sadistic people, took pleasure in killing little Indian kids, murdering them, raping them. And so those who made it through, they didn't really survive because they have post-traumatic stress disorder, and they're not emotionally developed. And as a result, when they have children, they can try their best to be parents, but they're still missing something. They never see when they were children, they never received experiences that we should receive so that we become emotionally developed. So when they become adults, this is what they're missing. So they're not really effective parents. They try their best, but it's not good enough, because it's just an emotional fact that we need a certain kind of emotional training. That means we have to experience certain things when we're being raised as children. And if we don't get that, we grow up emotionally underdeveloped. So in the early 1900s, the Indians that are born from there are today's elders. So when people say that, today's elders are a connection to the ancient past, this is not true. They never even got to learn things like Lakota Star knowledge. This story that I'm telling you right now concerning the wolves and the humans, most Lakota people don't even know that story, because remember, the priest said that the Lakota Star knowledge stories conflict with the Bible, so that means they must come from the devil. And like I said, we were hit physically, emotionally, and spiritually, in that we couldn't eat the foods that our bodies are used to. Our ceremonies were illegal. We couldn't speak our language in public. That was illegal too. And then we became weak-minded. Our medicine people, our spiritual people, were sent to this mental asylum. And if you tried to rebel openly, you were sent there too, to die. So people had no place else to go but to church. And that's where the brainwashing began. Then the children were sent to boarding school. More brainwashing. Plus, add to that brainwashing, post-traumatic stress disorder. And because these people never received those experiences that we should receive for emotional development, then because of that reason, every generation of Indians that comes is more dualistic than the previous one. So each generation comes, the further away from our ancestral perspective we go. That's a problem. So that's why not many people today know the story. And when I tell this story, a lot of Lakota people don't believe it. But it is in there. I'm not the only one that knows these stories. There's others too. Yeah? So this is the reason why. Okay. Now, let me continue. So now Tsogahe is feeling really sorry now, yeah, because all his actions have basically decimated the human population. So he goes to on top of a hill and he starts crying. He's crying. He's saying he's sorry to the Wakantanka. Now you know this is not God. Yeah, this is an organization. And there's another one too. It has the same name, and neither one is better than the other. Yeah, neither one is the good one or the bad one. There's just more than one, and they work in different ways. But this is not God. We don't have that one God concept. Yeah. So he started crying to them and praying to them, for help. And he just stayed up there. On the fourth night that he did this, he received a vision. And a voice told him, he said, there's something coming to you. But you have to be really humble about this, he said. He said, an animal is coming to you that's going to save you. It's going to give you everything you'll ever need. Yeah? Your home, your clothes, your food. And he said, you can use this animal for lots of things. So, when you see this animal, say, this is how you shoot it. This is how you hunt it. So he was shown in the vision how to hunt this animal. The voice said it's going to be very difficult. Before you do the hunt, you have to do a ceremony. And in this ceremony, you apologize to the animal nation. Because you're going to take some of them. And you only take what you need. And what you take does not belong to you, it belongs to everybody. And when the hunt is over, you give back. You have to give something back. And you always have to keep this in mind. And that when you get this animal, you use as much of it as possible for something. Find something for a certain part to be used. Yeah? So this is why it's not a traditional thing to kill an animal and put its head on a wall. That's really disrespectful in the Lakota way. Yeah, that you're not supposed to do that. These parts are supposed to be used for all kinds of things, even for ceremonies. But you're not supposed to, mount its head on the wall. This is not tradition. It's really disrespectful to that animal. If you're going to do that, you might as well do that to your grandparents when they die too. Because it's the same thing. In the Lakota way, we are not above the animals. We're on the same level. Yeah, we're all wamakashka. That's everything in its natural state. And that's classified into 4 categories. With your takushkoshka, that which moves and grows, and hutopa, the 4-legged, hunumpa, the 2-legged, which is humans and bears. All bears are considered 2-legged. It's interesting, isn't it? And then the 4th group being chupahu, the winged. This is represented by a medicine wheel. 4 parts. We're all connected to each other. What happens to one happens to others. Affects others. So this is why when we take something, whether it's a plant or an animal, the concept is the same. You apologize, you give something back. This is why tribes this is a similar concept that other tribes have too. And this is why, those that were agricultural, they gave something back to the earth from their harvest and from themselves to keep that. balance, yeah, to keep this. And you do this so that the people may live, not just you, but the people. So whatever you take, it belongs to the people. You feed everybody. You just don't feed your own family. So he was shown these things and given these teachings. And then he was shown what the animal looks like. That's coming. When you take one, it's like a funeral, because you're taking a life. It's a sad thing. So you have to show that respect to that animal nation that's coming. It's going to be hard, but it's possible. And you help them. When they need your help, you help them. The humans must watch out for them. That's what the story is saying. Okay, now the story changes scenery again. Now we go back under the earth. The old leader, Tatanka, he got a vision too. And the vision, it's the same voice told him, now it's time to come on the earth. So they got ready, and all the rest of the Pte Oyate, remember, that does not mean buffalo. It's something different. They look human, but they're not. Okay? So the rest of the Pte Oyate that are still under the earth, they started following Tatanka. Now they're going to come out in the same location where Togahe came out. There's a big rock there. Iktomi put it there, yeah. So they push it out. Tatanka is the first one of this group to come out. When he comes out, his body changes. Yeah, he hunches over on his four, and then his back humps. A hump comes in there. His head changes. This really thick hair comes out. Their skin changes. Their feet, their hands and feet change. They transform into something else, and they come running out of his cave. And now they're known as Ptechjaka Oyate. Ptechjaka is buffalo. This is the buffalo nation. This is how they came. So they're running and running out of this cave, and then at the same time Togahe is instructing his warriors what to do. So they do exactly what he saw in this vision. And they prepare themselves, they pray, and they're really it's a sad thing because they're going to take life now. Yeah. So they go out, they see it, and they're just amazed at these beasts that are coming. So they take only what they need. Just like the vision told them, just take what you need. And then they have to give something of themselves back. So some of the men, they cut strips of skin from their arm, and they put it in the earth with, part of this buffalo. They give of themselves back so that the people may live. Then they made that vow that they're supposed to make, that they will, they're also going to watch out for the buffalo too. They protect them. So that's where this saying came, where what happens to the buffalo people happens to the humans, and what happens to the humans happens to the buffalo people. So we have the same enemies. So the wolves, not only are they enemies to the humans, but they're enemies to the buffalo as well. It's interesting, yeah, interesting story. So this is why we have that relationship now. Yeah, that if we help them to live, then we live. Do you see what I mean? So this is where that concept comes from. So let's examine the story now between Tatanka, the old wise man, and Togahe, the young foolish man. Now Tokahe grew to become wise when he became older, and he really became a wise person, and very much like Tatanka. Yeah, in the end, they were like brothers. They're very similar. It's just that Tatanka was older. Now let's look at their communication. When you see Tatanka and Tokahe, yeah, just imagine these two people facing each other. The young man sends all this unhealthy energy. You're old-fashioned. We're going to defeat you. You shouldn't be the ruler anymore. We're going on the earth. I don't care what you say. All this is unhealthy energy coming out. How does Tatanka respond? The old man. He responds with compassion. Yeah, he doesn't answer it with unhealthy energy. When Tokahe and his young warriors attack the old men stand their guard. And they tell the young men, go home. Settle down. But they don't kill any young men. They stand up to them and they say, you go home now and calm down. We'll talk when you're calmed down. So they didn't answer it with another attack. They stood their guard and told them to go home and calm down. So they didn't answer in the same way. Do you see what I mean? They answered with compassion. And he kept doing that. Every time the young people struck against the old people stood up to them and said, calm down. Then we will talk. Yeah? So, if the old people responded in the same way as the young people, they probably would have destroyed each other. Yeah? They would have wiped each other off out of existence. There would never be any humans. There would never be any buffalo. We wouldn't even have made it that far. And nothing healthy would have happened from that. So answering racism with racism doesn't work. See, the young man, Tokahe, he tried to humiliate the old man. But the old man just said, calm down. And then we'll talk. If you want to talk, let's talk in private. But time after time, the young man tried to humiliate the old man in public. And the old man said, calm down, man. You're making it worse for yourself. Because all this that you're sending out is going to come back to you stronger. That's why I'm saying calm down. We can help you, but not like this. Then with that same rebellious energy, they went up on the earth and almost got massacred into extinction. And Tokahe learned that the hard way. If the old people responded the same way as the young people, Tokahe never would have become wise. He would have died, along with all his people. And the old people would have all died too. Nothing good would have come from that. So you see, to humiliate somebody, to try to humiliate somebody in public, this is going to come back against you. And wise people don't respond to it, because the people who are trying to humiliate are actually going to end up hurting themselves even more. So it's interesting from my perspective when I go into some native forum or any tribe's Facebook website, and you see how these young people are all attacking each other. They're trying to humiliate each other. And like I said, there's this other guy, I think he bases himself out of New Mexico. His first name is David too. I don't remember his last name, but this guy really tries to humiliate people he thinks are doing something wrong. Now that is not important. What's problematic here is what this David is doing, this other David. Yeah, is that what he's doing is humiliation. Now he's trying to say, I'm exposing them so but that you don't do it in this way. In the Lakota way, you don't do that in this way. This is humiliation. In the Lakota society, ancient society, when somebody commits a heinous crime like a rape, they take that person in private and they deal with him. Yeah? The warrior society is going to take him in private and they're going to say, look, you violated something incredibly sacred. And for this, there is no coming back. This woman has to deal with this for the rest of her life. This is a daily fight for her now to try to come to peace with this. She may never come to peace with it. And it's because of what you did. So they take him out in private. They take him out someplace. And they snuff him. This is capital punishment. That's how serious it is. But that's done in private. They don't do it in front of everybody. Now, this is an extreme case. But it's done in private. And this is really severe because in ancient society, young men and young women are raised in such a way that by the time they're 15 years old, they're really emotionally developed. Yeah, the boys know the sanctity of the power of a woman, her life-giving power, and when they're getting married, they know that they should they receive training like they should have no more than 3 children, and that these children should be spaced at least 2 years apart from each other. That's to allow the woman to have her time. Yeah, and the man has a lot of responsibilities too. This is the kind of training they receive, and the women, they receive training too about men as well. So for a man to rape a woman, he's not only is he violating the woman, he's violating all women, plus he's violating his teachers that taught him about respect, about the sanctity of women, especially in their menstruating years. So he's violated his teachers as well. He's violated the warrior society that he's come from. He violated his mother. He violated his sisters, his grandmothers. He cannot live after that. That's how serious that was seen, because he had all that knowledge. All that knowledge was given to him when he was a young boy, and he went against it. Because of this violation of life-giving powers, he cannot live. He ended it. He ended his own life. That's the way it was. That's how serious it was. Then the focus has to come to the woman to heal from that, so that he doesn't win. Because if she hates men from this time forward, the rapist has won. So this is a lifelong thing that she has to go through. That's how serious it is. That's how come he can't be allowed to live. It's a very serious crime. But that judgment is carried out in private. You don't do it in public. Yeah. So when you have a problem with somebody, you go to them in a respectful way. You don't go there with your guns, all loaded up and you know, war paint on your face or whatever. You go there in a peaceful way and you give them tobacco and you say, "I'd like to talk with you in private. I just want to share something with you." Yeah, and then you tell them your concern. You do this in a peaceful way. You don't go on a forum and blast their name through all, everybody can see, because then what you're doing is humiliation. And that's not the Lakota way. So what this David guy is doing, I can't remember his last name, but I just remember his name is, he's got the same first name as me. And the way he does things is really unhealthy. This is not the Indian way at all. To humiliate others, even if the others are wrong, still to humiliate them is not the healthy way to deal with it. You have to look at the bigger picture, and that's people who try to humiliate others. This is what they don't do. They don't see the bigger picture. Yeah, that what you do is going to come back to you times 4. So what if somebody's going to Japan and selling a Sundance to Japanese people, and then they make a video out of it, and maybe even make a music video out of it and show it in Japanese music television? I have to say, so what? Because they have to know that what they're doing is going to come back against them, and that's all. But if you try to humiliate them, that's like answering racism with racism. That's like trying to cure the common cold with the HIV virus. It's not going to work. It's just going to make things worse. And it's nothing, and no one is going to be helped for this. Answering unhealthy communication with other unhealthy communication is not going to work, and that's what this other David is doing. He's finding this it's like he spends all his time hunting for people who are communicating in an unhealthy way, and then he responds to them with his unhealthy communication. And I say, man, what a waste of time. A person could be walking on the street and seeing somebody who needs help, go over there and help them and give them a smile and say, "Thanks for letting me help you, man." There's so much more can be spread into this world of this kind of love rather than hunting people and then humiliating them. A guy lives a very sad life. That's a really sad way to live, to hunt people and then try to humiliate them after that. This is not justice. This is stupidity. And the internet is an opportunity for assholes to develop into even bigger assholes. That's the message for today. Don't be an asshole and be on the internet, because you're going to end up being a bigger asshole than before. But shoot. But it works the other way too. If you're a nice person, the internet can help you in that, and you can spread your work further, like this show is doing. Yeah. So that I'm showing you the framework behind communication is what I'm doing here, and now it's your choice. How are you going to go about your own life? Because if the internet is a big part of your life, and for some people it is, and that can be unhealthy, but it can be healthy too. It depends on how you are as a person. Yeah, because if you're a healthy person, you can use the internet to bring help to others. in a way that you never could before. And that can be a really beautiful experience. That's the way I use it. Yes, the internet is a big part of my life, but I use it in a healthy way. And in this show, what I try to do is I'm trying to show you how the thought process works behind communication. That when you do something in an unhealthy way, it's going to come back against you. Really strong. It's going to come back to you stronger. In Lakota, we say 4 times as strong. Other tribes, they might say different. But the bottom line is it comes back stronger. So if you're out to, quote unquote, expose others, I don't think that's what you're really doing. I think what you're trying to do is make a name for yourself. And that's selfishness. And that goes hand in hand with these people's way of humiliating others. Selfish people, and the way selfish communication involves humiliation, and that is all unhealthy. And then Lakota natural law of generosity, Wowokia, will go into effect as well. So people who communicate like that are going to end up fucking themselves over. Yeah? Sometimes people are really mouthy, and it doesn't surprise me that in their last days they get cancer in their mouth. It doesn't shock me. I've seen it happen, and a lot of you probably know who I'm talking about. So you have to really be careful when it depends on you. How do you want to be? Do you like being an asshole? Then be the best asshole you can be, because eventually you will learn what I just said. So I'm not going to stop you. If you want to be an asshole, I'm not going to stop you from being an asshole. I want you to be the biggest asshole possible, because that's the fastest way you're going to learn that what I said is true. What goes around comes around, but in the Lakota world, it comes around stronger. So I'm not going to stand in your way. Yeah, and I know there are people who really trash this show. It doesn't bother me one bit. In fact, it's my invitation to do so, because that's the only way you're going to learn. Go ahead and trash this show. That doesn't bother me. But if this is what you feel like doing, then do it. Because that's the only way you're going to learn. And I want you to learn. I have compassion for you. I want you to learn this natural law of generosity. The sooner you understand it, the healthier your life will be. So I'm not going to stand here and say, stop being an asshole. I'm not going to say that. Because then I'm going to slow down that teaching that you need to receive. I'm not going to stand in its way. So the best way, the fastest way to get that teacher into your life that you need is for you to be the best asshole you can be. To be the biggest asshole possible. Then you'll learn, yeah? So I'm not going to stand in your way. I do want you to learn, because I do have compassion for you. And I want you to learn, because the quicker you learn, the healthier you'll be, and then you'll help others. But humiliating people is only making matters worse for yourself. And that's the way it works in natural law. So it's up to you. Yeah, how do you want to be this? How do you want to do this? And like I said, the internet can be a tool, for it can go either way. Either we can end up, reaching a lot of people and teaching them about these things, and or people spread their hatred, they spread their poison, and they find others who are already infected, and then they use that to infect others. It's like a virus, literally a virus. And that unfortunate thing is that that's going to come back to them stronger. But that's what they're asking for. They're going to get what they ask for. And that goes the same for us healthy people. We're going to get what we ask for too. And that's a beautiful thing. Yeah? So just think about it. Yeah, I'm not asking you to agree with me, or I don't care if you agree with me or not. If you do, cool. If you don't, that's cool too. But what is most important to me is that you at least think about what I said. That's all. You don't have to agree. I just ask that you think about it. And maybe you come up with your own ideas. Maybe that helps you to think of something else that helps you. And that ends up helping others. And that's the whole point, is to help one another, to support one another. So we can learn, yeah? So we can learn from all kinds of experiences. So, and it's never too late to change. That's the beauty of being human. We have volition. We can change the course of our lives at any time. Even at our last breath, we can change. And that's going to affect everything in a healthy way. When the change is for the healthier, is what I mean. That's what it's all about. Yeah? This is what we call love. I thank you very kindly for taking time to tune into this show, because I enjoy it. I enjoy talking about these kind of things, and like I said, think about the story and with Tatanka and Tokahe, and just think about that, and look in your own life. And we all make mistakes, but the important thing is that we learn from those mistakes and transform them into teaching experiences. So when we look on them, there's no embarrassment. Yeah, there's no feelings of regret or grudges or gripes. Interesting how the G is in those words, yeah. Anyway, so that we can look at it and smile and say, yeah, that was a crazy time, but hey, it's a teacher now. I hug it. I own it. I hug it. It taught me something, and I'm very thankful for that knowledge that I received from that experience. I'm not an asshole anymore, but I sure learned from it. And I don't want to be that anymore. Yeah, you can do that, and you have knowledge from that, and from that knowledge, you gain wisdom, you gain peace. There's no more emotional attachments. They're gone. They leave, and you have peace, and you're a wise person now. And now you can use that to help others, to guide others in their journeys. That's the way we live. Yeah, that's the road to life. Chankuluta. It's not the Indian way. It's the way to live. Red represents life. Red is blood. Blood represents life. It's not skin color. Okay? It's life. So it's my hope that we all choose to live, that we choose life, and that we choose to learn from things, and that we can enjoy things and live. Thank you very much. We don't have a word for goodbye, so we say until next time, which in Lakota is Toksha Ake.